Bonjour à tous, je m'appelle Tito, je fais des vidéos sur les finances personnelles sur mon autre chaîne, mais sur cette chaîne, je parle d'autres choses comme aujourd'hui, où je vais revoir le film Kill Boro. After being subjected to years of physical and emotional abuse, Elijah seeks to have Boro terminated and will stop at nothing to ensure it happens. However, there are different factors at play that could derail his quest. Kill Boro is a gritty drama directed by Courage Obayuwana, a protege of the First Features project. This is going to be a bit of a long review because there's lots to say about Kill Boro. Therefore, there will be timestamps to help you guys better navigate this review. Secondly, I'll try and make this review work for both those of you who are yet to see Kill Boro and those of you who have seen Kill Boro, because I assume that some of you will be watching this review to find out if Kill Boro is worth your time. For those of you, or if you fall into that category rather, I will start with Gregory Ojefua for this review, and I suggest that you don't go beyond Gregory Ojefua, because from then on, I will be, revealing spoilers of the film. And that's the portion for those of you who've already seen the movie and want to hear my analysis of the movie. I hope all that makes sense. Now, third, this movie, Kill Boro, is the fourth out of 12 films to come out of the First Features initiative, right? And essentially, from what I gather, it's an initiative where Steve Gukas and Dotun Olakunrin, they support filmmakers, up and coming or new filmmakers actually, to release their first feature films, hence the title First Features. 3 have come out previously. I think the first was Cake, then there was Love and Life, and then It Blooms in June, and now this film, Kill Boro. All 12 films will not be connected, at least I don't think they will be, but they're all films produced or, under this initiative of First Features. And I think it's a worthwhile and commendable initiative to help young creatives or people new to that space to create or to put out their first feature films. All that said and done, let's begin now, guys, with Gregory Ojefua, which is typically what I leave till the end of the review. See Kill Boro if you like films set in the ghetto where there's an element of like a local gang that's oppressing people in the community and stuff like that. I also think you'll enjoy this film if you like a movie on family dynamics and a family that's really going through a tough time and they're just trying to survive and there's a little bit of domestic violence thrown into the mix and all that. If that's your cup of tea, then I think you'll enjoy Kill Boro. Okay, so this is where those of you who are yet to see the movie end or stop watching this review, because from here on out, we're entering spoiler territory, beginning with the performances. Asaya plays the main character, Boro, this multifaceted chap who, when we meet him in the film, is an abusive father and an abusive husband and a debtor and just like a good-for-nothing, right? But throughout the film, we see him trying to turn over a new leaf and become a new man. And I think Asaya did a really good job. He was a strong lead in the film, and he brought this grit and ruggedness that both the film and the character Boro really required. He was very believable. I've only seen him in one movie before, and I think that was Cake a year or two ago, and I didn't even pay attention to him on that. It's when I went for the premiere and I asked around about him, that they told me he was in Cake. Anyway, long story short, Asaya did a great job, and I really look forward to seeing him in other movies. Next, you need Dima-Okojie. She plays Boma, Boro's wife, and I have to say, Dima did a really good job. And I also have to say that she was one of the reasons that I really wanted to see this film, because from the poster and the trailer, you can tell that this is a gritty film, and Dima-Okojie doesn't really do like gritty street movies. She tends to play, the cosmopolitan, sophisticated woman. So I wanted to see how she would fare in this film. And to be honest, she did a really good job. I also like how they explained how she's not exactly all the way from that world and that ghetto, because she grew up in like a middle-class home, but once she got pregnant with Elijah, she has to move in with her husband or live with her husband, Boro, and they clearly live in the ghetto, and that's where she just starts becoming more rough around the edges. So the fact that she wasn't speaking pidgin throughout the movie was kind of explained by that dynamic, right? And regardless, I really think Ndima did a really good job. Her dynamic with the other actors in the film, particularly the character Elijah, which was her son, and the character Boro, which was her husband, particularly Boro, they were so good. They were so good. Shout out to Dima-Okojie. She's proved once again that she's a very good actress who takes her craft very seriously. Now, Kosisochukwu Ogboruche, I hope I got his name right. He plays the son, Elijah. This, to be honest, you get where Elijah was coming from, but at the same time, you'll be like, dude, calm down. You see your father is trying to turn over a new leaf. Essentially, Elijah wants his father terminated because his father is a good-for-nothing. He's abusive to his mother and himself. So he, wants to put a hit on his dad. And that's essentially where the title of the film comes from and what the movie is about. And, Elijah delivered the character really well. You could feel his frustration. You could feel his drive to accomplish this objective that he wanted to accomplish of raising the money to pay for a hit on his dad. Anyway, my point is, Kosisochukwu did a really good job. You can see that this young man is really taking his work very seriously and he's really trying to deliver. And, being thrown into that environment, I believe they filmed in Port Harcourt, in like a ghetto and whatnot, he really did blend and he really did look like a character that was native to that kind of environment, especially when he was doing the odd jobs to raise the money for the thing that he wanted to get done, i.e. to pop his dad. But yeah, shout out to him. He really did a good job. Finally, Gregory Ojefua, who, by the way, was nominated for an Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Award. The AMVCA nominations were announced a few days ago on Sunday, and he's nominated for, I don't know if it's Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor, but you can check out my video, by the way, of the AMVCA nominations by clicking the card in the corner of the screen. Gregory Ojefua, really good actor. Glad he's getting his attention or his nomination now, right? Because he's been in so many things and he really does well. And the fact that he's been in so many things just is evidence that he's such a good actor. In this film, he plays Achebe, this local boss or crime boss, right? Who is like a quasi-father figure to Elijah. And what I liked about Achebe is that he's not all the way bad. We know that he's a criminal boss, right? But we also see him trying to take care of his people and particularly to be a good example to Elijah. And that was interesting to see. It showed that that character wasn't just one way or just linear. It was a multifaceted character as well. And I really liked Gregory Ojefua's delivery of the character. I particularly liked the dialogue between Achebe and Boma, in the mechanic workshop and on Achebe's balcony when Boma came to ask for a loan. But all in all, I did like most of the performances in this movie, Kill Boro. There are one or two, of like Jaguar and some of the other characters in the film that were not as fantastic, but for the main characters that we spend most of the film with, they did a really good job. I was really impressed by their performances. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I do have a quick message I want to pass across. Do me a favor and like this video by clicking on the like button. It won't take you more than 2 seconds. Just take your mouse and click on that like button and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. In addition, watch a couple of the adverts that play throughout the course of this video because you watching those adverts or even clicking on them is how us YouTubers make our YouTube revenue, and that stuff keeps me motivated to come back week after week to make these videos. So please watch a couple of those adverts. They don't last more than 1 or 2 minutes, right? So watch ads, like and subscribe. Now let's head back to the video. Ce que j'ai aimé. There are lots of things that I liked about this movie, Kill Boro. First of all, good character development. We really got to know about these characters in this film, the main characters, their motivations, where they were in the film, where they came from, where they were going, what they wanted out of life. Character development was really good, and I think it translated in the acting as well, because the acting was, in my opinion, was quite good. I also liked the scenes of dialogue between Boro and Achebe, played by Asaya and Gregory Ojefua in particular. I think I mentioned it earlier. Especially the scene at the mechanic workshop where Achebe confronts Boro for the first time, and also the scene on Achebe's balcony where Boro goes to ask Achebe for a loan. You see, Gregory Ojefua and Asaya are two really good actors. They're good actors on their own, but I'm of the opinion that when two really good actors who are good at delivering their lines and good at emoting and just delivering their characters right, when they have a scene together, it's electric. It's really different. It's much better than when just one character or one actor is really good and the other actor is just somewhat average. So I really liked the richness of the dialogue between Gregory Ojefua and Philip Asaya in their scenes together. In this movie, I also liked the moral lessons in the film. There are lots of moral lessons in the movie, like, second chances, survival, in being industrious, with Elijah trying to raise the money, although he was trying to raise the money for a terrible cause, but we see how he applied himself, because I don't think Elijah would ever have imagined that he'd be able to raise that much money in such a short amount of time for any other purpose. But he himself realized that if he applies himself, he can actually go far, and that in itself is a lesson. And also Boma and maybe her resilience. We always tell people not to stay, when there's domestic abuse happening, but I don't know, it's easier said than done. But each of the main characters, there were lessons to learn from their own stories. And even Achebe as well. He really delivered a very powerful lesson in terms of trying to teach Elijah the right way. Not necessarily conceding to what he wanted to do, but just trying to show him that there's another way, or trying to let him figure out the error of his ways on his own. There are just lots of moral lessons that I appreciated in the movie. I also liked the monologues. There are a couple of monologues in the film that went on for a while. One that I remember in particular was the young lady in Achebe's gang, when she's sitting down by the fire, right, with Elijah, and she's telling Elijah about the first time that she offed someone. The delivery of that scene, or of that monologue, was very powerful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And you don't really see movies, particularly in Nollywood, where actors deliver long scenes of monologue, because it's a bit tough for the actor, and sometimes the director also wants a shortcut, so they don't want to film for so long. They just would rather chop up bits and pieces. So I like the fact that the director of this film, Courage Obayuwana, took that risk. Not just with that scene, but I think there were one or two other scenes that had a bit of long monologues in them, and I really liked that. I liked the delivery, and I liked the risk that they took with that. It didn't go unnoticed by me. What else did I like about this film? The gritty nature of it, and the fact that they did it in a ghetto of, I think, Port Harcourt. It gave it that south grit and ruggedness, yeah? And also the fact that they were speaking pidgin as well made it quite authentic. Although the fact that they were alternating between pidgin and English and normal English was a bit confusing and jarring at certain points, but I really liked the pidgin and the gritty element of both the environment and how they were speaking in the movie. I feel like there's something else. Oh yes. What I actually liked most about this film, and allow me to take a brief detour. You see, my favorite BB Winans song is a song called Coming Back Home, which features Brian McKnight and Joe, who are also two of my favorite R&B artists. It's called Coming Back Home, like I said, and it's a story about how a man realizes the error of his ways, in terms of the wrong life he's living with alcoholism and adultery and, just being on the wrong path spiritually. He realizes the error of his ways and he wants to return back to the right path. He wants to return home. But within the theme of the song is, a man who has been chasing up women or just going about things, just distancing himself from his family. He also realizes the error of his ways and he returns to his family to be reconciled with them. And that's a theme, that I really like and that really resonates with me. So if I see a book or a song or a stage play or a movie that has that theme of a man who has gone down the wrong path, seeking to reconcile with the people that matter in his life, the people that he loves, like his family or his God and all that, if I see that, it's almost a home run for me. There's a 70 to 80% chance that I will like that film, that play, that book, or that song, right? And bringing it back to Kill Boro, that was really at the heart of this movie, particularly the dynamic between Boro and Boma. I like how we gradually see Boro trying to become a better man for his family. That was very touching, and I think we need to see that theme more in our movies, because these days there are so many people, male and female, who are just going down a wrong path, doing things for themselves in a selfish way, and not considering the people that care about them, the people that love them, their community and all that, or their family. So with movies like this that depict that, I think it will go a long way in helping people realize that, you didn't come to this world to serve only yourself. There are people that care about you that you need to do right by. So yes, that was what I liked most about this movie. The last thing I'll mention that I liked about the film was there's a particular scene, and I love it when I see a movie where there's a scene that stands out, that I remember after the movie is done. The scene where Boma and Boro are rejoicing once Boma has been able to sell that watch for a lot of money, and he goes home, he tells his wife, and he shows his wife the cash, and that scene was just so wholesome, and I really, really enjoyed it. So let me scan through my notes to see if I missed out on anything. I like how they depicted the suffering and the poverty that they were going through. They didn't just use dialogue to say, oh, our family is poor and all that. They showed different ways, or they showed the fact that they were poor. With them not having electricity, with the way they were living in their small home, and the cooker, and the fact that it was hilarious when Boro went to go and buy a pizza. It was even the small pizza, and then Capel wine, and they were like having dinner, and they were actually like celebrating, and we could actually feel that for this family it's a big deal, but really and truly for the average family or the middle class family, this is nothing. But for this family who is impoverished, it's a big deal that they're having pizza for dinner, even though it's a small pizza and it's a bottle of Capel wine. It worked, and I liked that. Ce que je n'ai pas aimé. I felt like the beginning of the movie was a bit rocky. I didn't understand what was really going on in the beginning. I mean, where Boro went to go and see Jaguar to talk to him about the money he owed him, fine, that part I understood. But where Elijah was following that other kid through town and, trying to expose him, I wasn't too clear on what was going on there. But eventually the film started to make sense. I also didn't like the end, like the final act of the movie. I felt like it was very cheesy, and I felt like it could have been better written. I mean, with Elijah taking the box and getting in a boat, going to where his father was, to go and see him and Jaguar. And also the fact that Boro didn't even check the money before going to Jaguar's place to pay him off. And then the community people, all getting together and heading to Jaguar's hideout, it was just incredibly cheesy. And I felt like the movie deserved a better ending. It's not to mention the point where there were, Elijah and Boro were all like, don't shoot my son, shoot me. I wish that they had written a better ending to the film. What else didn't I like about this film? The fight scene in the bar where Boro takes on those two guys, that fight scene wasn't really convincing. I felt like it could have been better. And it's funny because before the movie, or before the premiere, I met the editor of the film at the premiere, Precious. Cool dude. What's up, Precious? And he said, I asked him what scenes should I look out for in the film? And Precious said, one of the scenes he said I should look out for was the fight scene in the bar. So I was looking out for that, but at the end of the day, I wasn't too impressed by that scene. But hey, it's fair. There are so many other impressive scenes in the movie for me. In conclusion, this film wasn't too bad for me. And I have to say for me because some of my friends who saw the movie that night at the premiere as well, they did not enjoy the film. So, and I get it, right? I get it. I think for some unique factors or some unique reasons, the film resonated with me, right? But I won't be surprised if many of you watching this review now who have seen the movie also did not like Kill Boro. But as you can tell, I enjoyed it. The way I see it, right, I liken it to a three-course meal. A three-course meal, there's the starter, there's the main course, and there's dessert. The starter, i.e. the beginning of Kill Boro, not too great, but manageable. The dessert, i.e. the third and final act, a bit, rocky. But you see that main course, the middle of the film, I really enjoyed that. And based on that, I think it was a decent one. And based on that, I'm giving this movie, Kill Boro, 2.5 over 5 jollofs. And I actually won't mind watching it again when it comes out this weekend. A friend of mine at the premiere, slight detour, he actually tweeted and said Tito is going to rip this movie apart. But incidentally, Tito actually liked the movie. Anyway guys, if you liked this review, do me a favor and like the video by clicking on the like button and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. On this channel I do Nollywood movie reviews and sometimes I talk about other things. to check out some of my past reviews or my AMVCA's nomination reaction video, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. I also have a podcast. To check out the podcast, you can also click the card in the corner of the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to let me know what you thought about the movie Kill Boro in the comment section down below. It's fine if you didn't enjoy the movie the way I did. Still let me know what your thoughts were in the comment section down below. Thanks for the final time, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.